Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The North Ridgeville City Council meeting is now in session. Today is Monday, September 16th, 2024. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be together, and we ask for your guidance and your wisdom as we conduct our meeting. We ask for your blessing over this meeting, all those present here, and all the lives we encounter each day. We pray in your name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Avens.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Awig.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mr. Mayor. Law Director.
Here.
Engineer. Finance Director. Clerk of Council. Here.
Tonight, we have before us the regular City Council meeting minutes dated September 3rd, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved. Please note that Council has also received the Utilities Committee meeting minutes dated September 3rd, 2024, the Civil Service Commission special meeting minutes dated September 9th, 2024, the Safety Committee meeting minutes dated September 9th, 2024, as well as the Planning Commission meeting minutes dated September 10th, 2024. That'll bring us to our lobby session. For those who are not familiar, and as a reminder to those who are, our lobby session is the portion of the meeting in which the public is allowed an opportunity to address council as well as the administration. Anybody wishing to speak this evening, we ask that you please speak from the podium, and from the podium only, please. We will ask you to begin by stating your name and your address for the record, at which time you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak regarding matters of the business of City Council or the general affairs of the City of North Ridgeville. Also, as a reminder, in the interest of time, the lobby session is not intended to be an interactive question and answer session, but nonetheless, we do welcome and appreciate your feedback. Depending on the nature of your comments, a council member may follow up with you. So at this time, the lobby session is now open. Is there anybody in attendance who wishes to address council this evening? Okay, seeing none, the lobby session is now closed. We'll move on to administrators' reports. Up first, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have several items of legislation that we're going to be asking for the emergency clause on, and I will go over those as they come up. I wanted to point out that our Public Works Department Streets Division is currently paving Aronson and Knoll this week. Once they finish those two streets, they'll be moving on to Shady Drive. We have lots of activities coming up in the next several weeks. We have a Medicare information session that is being hosted by our Senior Center. It's on September 18th at 2:30 p.m. There are significant changes to Medicare in 2025. Debbie Hamilton from the Lorain County Office on Aging will present an informative update. And please RSVP by calling the Senior Center at 440-490-2056. There is an active transportation plan public meeting that's scheduled for Tuesday, September 24th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the North Ridgeville Academic Center Community Room. The planning team will present recommendations to improve connectivity in North Ridgeville through sidewalks, trails, and other safety and mobility improvements. There'll be a presentation including priorities for safe routes to school improvements at ECLC, Liberty Elementary, Ranger High Tech Academy, and the Academic Center. At the end of the month, it is time for another edition of Senior Center Spaghetti Dinner. The event is on Friday, September 27th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tickets are available in advance or at the door the day of the event. Cost is $8 for adults, $7 for seniors, and $5 for children 10 and under. There is dine-in or take-out, and proceeds benefit the programs at the Senior Center, and thank you to the North Ridgeville Lions Club for sponsoring the event. There is a safety fair coming up on Saturday, October 5th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Fire Station 1 and Police Station Campus on Ranger Way. It is a family-friendly event that gives residents the opportunity to learn about healthy living, best safety practices in and around the home. There'll be safety demonstrations, building tours, food trucks, touch a truck, DJ, bounce house, face painting, and much more. So it's a much bigger event. Usually it's just at Fire Station 1 this year with the police station next door. We'll be expanding that event. Just as a point of interest for road construction, on Monday, the Chestnut Ridge Bridge Replacement Project was started, and that is underway, and that means you cannot travel on Chestnut Ridge. Oh, today is Monday. How about that? Man, time flies. So that project will be going on for at least 75 days, and you will not be able to travel across Chestnut in that location for the remainder of the project. And then also, starting tomorrow morning, the intersection of Avalon, Stony, and Mills will be closed for the next 90 days as they work on that peanut project. And so there'll be some major detours if you use those areas for travel. Please keep that in mind. For the peanut roundabout project, we recommend that you use State Route 83 as your north-south route. There is also CASE available to you as well. There are some other ways, which I'm sure if you live in that area, you already know about those. At this point, I make the motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. We also have conferences with the public body's attorney concerning pending or imminent court action.
Second.
The motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swank to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing those matters just explained by the mayor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank.
Yes.
Schaefer. Yes. Abens.
Yes.
Winkle.
Yes.
Awig.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0 in executive session.
All righty. See you soon.
President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink.
I move to adjourn executive session and return to normal council session.
Second.
The motion was made by Swink and seconded by Winkle to adjourn executive session and to return to regular session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries, and at 7:41, return from executive session.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, please continue with your report.
Mr. President, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. City Engineer?
Thank you, Mr. President. As the mayor noted earlier, starting tomorrow, the intersection at Stony Ridge, Mills, and Avalon will be closed completely. You won't be able to traverse it at all for 90 days. Additionally, the closure at the Chestnut Ridge Road Bridge, which started today, is expected to be closed for at least 75 days. I also wanted to note that the contractor is starting with the relocation of the water main in anticipation of the bridge replacement. And it's sometime in the next few weeks, those individuals within that isolation zone on the water main will be shut off for a day, and those notices will be going out within the upcoming weeks. Set in Stone, our full-depth contractor, has started at Oakwood Drive in the Mills Creek subdivision and will likely be there for the rest of the week, and then they plan on moving to Main Avenue. The posted detours and updates for all of these projects can be found on the city's website. On the agenda tonight is ordinance 2024-106 for the application in NOACA for a Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative Implementation Grant, otherwise known as TLCI. This grant is specific to projects that have already been identified in a TLCI planning study, which we have, and the steering committee is currently working on finalizing. One of the locations identified within the study that currently has no sidewalk is Bagley Road. Bagley Road would benefit from the addition of sidewalks, as there are multiple residential subdivisions in this area, along with the Danbury Senior Living Community, which currently has no connectivity between them. Additionally, it is our understanding that there is a lot of foot traffic from these particular areas to the Discount Drug Mart at the corner of Lorraine and Bagley. Another reason why we chose Bagley Road over some of our other projects for this particular sidewalk grant is there are no other major planned utility improvements for this area, so we feel it's a good candidate for this grant, as the funding is pretty minimal. So I think that would be a good candidate for this particular grant opportunity. Also before council tonight is ordinance 2024-107, which is a request to amend ordinance 5996-2022, which was established for the construction costs to extend Cypress Avenue from its existing termini, approximately a half-mile east of Larranagle Road, to the proposed intersection at Lorraine Road in North Olmsted. Engineering is requesting to amend the appropriations from $1.4 million to $3.3 million to cover additional costs. These additional costs include the increased cost of materials, the traffic signal at Lorraine and Cypress, the necessary repairs and resurfacing for the section of Cypress, which is over 25 years old as it stands, as well as the addition of a box culvert. The addition of the culvert is actually part of the Mills Creek Flood Control Project and is part of the rerouting of the Mills Creek stream. But since we are moving Cypress Avenue ahead of the Mills Creek Stormwater Project, we didn't want to have to upend any new pavement or additional improvements that we make with the Cypress work. On a good note, we did receive a $700,000 grant from the state from their one-time strategic community investments through House Bill 2, which will help alleviate some of those additional costs. And that concludes my report.
All right, very good, thank you. Director of Finance?
Thank you, Council President. Before council tonight for your consideration is 2024-104, an ordinance amending annual appropriations, and 2024-105, a resolution authorizing fund advances. In advance of this meeting, I sent a memorandum to council outlining each item within each piece of legislation. I would like to ask council to consider adopting the legislation tonight with the emergency clause to provide the Department of Finance the resources necessary to meet our financial obligation. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Please note that council has also received the July 2024 Parks and Recreation Division Report. Under council committee reports, there are 2 on tonight's agenda. Clerk, if you could please read the first report.
Utilities Committee Report dated September 3rd, 2024. The committee reviewed and considered ordinance number 2024-88, 89, 90, and 91. The committee motioned to send ordinance number 2024-88, 89, 90, and 91 back to City Council for consideration.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens?
I'd like to move that the report be approved.
Accepted, rather? Typically, we accept reports.
Accepted.
Seconded by Winkle? Yes, sir. All right, the motion was made by Abens and seconded by Winkle to accept the Utilities Committee report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the Utilities Committee report, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, all opposed say no. Motion carries. Clerk, please read the second committee report.
Safety Committee Report dated September 9th, 2024. The committee reviewed and considered ordinance number 2024-81 and 82. The committee motioned to send ordinance number 2024-81 and 82 back to City Council for committee action. Ordinance number 2024-81 was a vote of 0 to 3, and ordinance number 2024-82 was a vote of 3 to nothing.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
move to accept.
Second.
It was moved by Swank and seconded by DeVries to accept the Safety Committee report. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank?
the committee did vote to not bring 2024-81 to city council. We had discussions with the police chief, fire chief, lieutenant, the mayor. There were quite a few in our meeting, and I feel like the committee felt that it just wasn't legislation that we were ready to put forth. I do, and I would understand if the other people who are not on that committee on council would not understand that. But the majority of the other city council people were in that meeting as well, so.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Swink. Are there any additional comments or
Mr.
questions?
President,
Yes, Mr. Abens?
on the issue of 2024-81, there were only 2 people who really expressed their non-support for that. And quite frankly, both of their reasoning was flawed, such as Fire Chief Reese stated that if cars are parked opposite of each other, their vehicles would just inch their way through that section. No consideration was given to when snowplows have to go through something like that. Also, I've heard that school buses will not go through that type of situation, so they'd be stuck at that. I believe that the committee missed the safety factor in this particular regards. And also, by not moving this forward, what would happen is there are many streets that have signs at the entrance that state no parking on hydrant side. Those signs would be deemed illegal and have to be removed. And in the instance of my street, that would be a problem. I know in Pioneer Ridge, if the cars are parked on both sides of the street, that poses a problem for emergency vehicles to get through. I also know that that can be a problem in Ridgefield as well. So I'm planning on voting no on this particular report.
Thank you, Mr. Abens. Are there any additional comments? Again, the motion was made by Swank. It was seconded by DeVries to accept the Safety Committee report. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
No.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
By a vote of 6-1, the Safety Committee report has been accepted.
All right, there is no correspondence or old business. Under new business, the North Ridgeville Planning Commission took action on 2 items at their regular meeting of September 10th, 2024. Clerk, please read the first item for Century Tavern.
Century's Tavern, 33312 Center Ridge Road, permanent parcel number 07000081140008. Owner Thomas Kelly, 33256 Center Ridge Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Proposal consists of site improvements for the bar and tavern. Property is zoned B3 Highway Commercial. Planning Commission action, conditional use approved by a vote of 4-0. Development plan approved by a vote of 4-0, subject to the inclusion of lot lines, potential lot consolidation, and water easements shown on plan.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens.
I will move that the Century Tavern project be approved along with the action of conditional use and development plan approved.
Second.
The motion was made by Abens and seconded by Swank to approve the Planning Commission's approval of the conditional use and the development plan for Century Tavern. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Clerk, please read the second item.
Elmer Avenue Street Vacation, PPN 0700045109007. Applicant Cynthia Perry, 7313 Dyke Avenue, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Proposal consists of vacating a portion of Elmer Avenue. Property zoned R1 Resident District. Planning Commission action approved by a vote of 4-0, subject to lot consolidation and applicants agreeing to maintain the existing drainage.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Abens?
As we heard in the earlier meeting today, this is something that we need to do, and there may be some more coming down the road, but I do move to approve this resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Abens and seconded by Swank to approve the Planning Commission's approval of the Elmer Avenue Street vacation. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. All right, the motion carries. We'll move on to recess.
Mr. President, move to dispense with recess.
Second?
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to dispense with recess this evening. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. All right, recess has been dispensed. We'll move on to first readings. And up first is 2024-104.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 6121-2023 of the City of North Ridgeville, Ohio, providing appropriations for the period commencing January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries?
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second?
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-104. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries?
move to adopt.
Second?
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the Department, or the Director of Finance.
Second?
The motion was made by DeVries and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-104 for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting by the Director of Finance. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-104 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-104 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-105.
A resolution authorizing fund transfers.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries?
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second?
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-105. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries?
move to adopt.
Second?
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the Director of Finance.
Second?
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-105 for the reasons stated by the Director of Finance. On the emergency clause, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-105 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-105 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Twenty 2024-106.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Ridgeville to make an application to the Northeast Ohio Area Coordinating Agency for Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative Implementation Grant for the Bagley Road Sidewalks Project.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-106. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Mayor.
our city engineer mentioned this project. We'd like to get the application in so we can get some money.
Good, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any additional comments or questions? Again, the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-106. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so we can apply for these funds before the grant deadline.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to 2024-106 in order to meet the deadline. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to adopt 2024-106 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens?
I have received in the past calls from residents along Bagley Road. And many of them are looking forward to having a sidewalk. My only request would be make that sidewalk as wide as possible with the money that we get.
Thank you, Mr. Avens. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-106 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-107.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 5996-2022, authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the construction and inspection of the Cypress Avenue extension by increasing the not-to-exceed amount to $3,300,000.
Mr. President?
Yes,
like to
Mr.
wait-
Mayor?
I'd like to wait until the next meeting to have any action on this.
Okay. Twenty 2024-108.
A resolution approving the settlement agreement with the city of North Ridgeville and a former employee to resolve claims charges made by the former employee.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-108. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no.
No.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
No.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 6-1.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to adopt.
Second.
The motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to adopt 2024-108. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
No.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-108 has been approved by a vote of 6-1.
All right, that moves us on to second readings. Up first is 2024-80.
An ordinance vacating a portion of Elmer Avenue.
2024-95.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of North Ridgeville, Ohio, to provide amendments to traffic North Ridgeville City Code Sections 402.077, .37, 404.991, and 452.04, to provide for penalties, to provide for codification, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes.
I will make a motion to dispense with the third reading for 2024-95.
Second.
The motion was made by Jacobs and seconded by Swank to dispense with the third reading for 2024-95. By way of explanation, on an annual basis, the state of Ohio makes changes to both the traffic offenses code as well as the general offenses code. The city of North Ridgeville follows the Ohio Revised Code, so when those changes go into effect, they are immediately adopted by the city. This legislation, as well as the next one, 2024-95, is us just giving our outside codifier authorization to make these changes on our website so that the website reflects the most up-to-date and accurate information for the public.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
do we need to add the emergency clause to that?
There's really, it's not necessary, but the longer we wait, the longer the website will be out of date, so I'm in favor of,
I move to add the emergency.
Second.
well, at this point, we haven't made a motion to adopt it. This was just the motion to dispense with the third reading. Is there any other discussion at this time?
But you can have the intervening motion of emergency can be voted on before.
No. Okay. Well, is there a second?
I second it.
All right, so the motion was made by Swank and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-95. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. The motion was made by Jacobs and seconded by Swank to dispense with the third reading for 2024-95. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank?
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Swank and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-95 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-95 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-96.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of North Ridgeville, Ohio, to provide amendments to the general offenses North Ridgeville City Code Sections 624.01, .14, .141, 630.11, 636.20, 666.02, and 03, to provide for penalties, to provide for codification, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank?
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
The motion was made by Swank and seconded by Awig to dispense with the third reading for 2024-96. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank?
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the same reasons as the previous one we just passed.
Second.
It was moved by Swank and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-96. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Swank and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-96 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-96 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-102.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a lease agreement with the state of Ohio for the use of real property owned by the city for the purpose of installing, operating, and maintaining a self-supporting communications tower and shelter building.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
move to dispense with the third reading.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with the third reading for 2024-102. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President, the state is moving forward with doing some groundwork in that area, and they would like to start building the tower as soon as possible. So I am going to ask to approve this once we pass or dispense with the third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? Again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to dispense with the third reading for 2024-102. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
And all opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause, as this is a communications tower that would be used to benefit the community.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-102. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-102 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-102 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
There are no third readings on tonight's agenda. As far as upcoming meeting announcements, the next regular city council meeting will be held on Monday, October 7th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in council chambers.
Mr. President, I want to make a comment.
Yes, Mr. Schaefer?
Earlier last week, on Tuesday, I spoke to development out at Murray Wood, and I would like to thank them for their gracious hospitality and extend an invitation to any other homeowners association that would like me to speak. I would be more than happy to.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. With no further business before us, this meeting is adjourned.